Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly pop culture wrap-up. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the weekly pop culture wrap-up. It's the show where I go over the week's pop culture news, mostly comic books and movies. Let's get right into it with some comic book news. We got a new creative team on Amazing Spider-Man. That's right. Last week we took the week off from the wrap-up, but we got the news that Nick Spencer was wrapping up his finale, his grandiose epic of Amazing Spider-Man, in September. What's to come? Well, in October, we get Amazing Spider-Man 75, which kicks off the Spider-Man Beyond story, which sees the return of Ben Reilly as Spider-Man. So that's kind of interesting and cool. There will be a rotating creative team that will be coming together and kind of show running the whole shebang. It's going to be Kelly Thompson, Saladin Ahmed, Cody Ziegler, Patrick Gleason, and Zeb Wells. I wouldn't get too excited about this. This seems very temporary. This smells very similar to the Uncanny X-Men reboot that they did right before Hickman came on. If you remember, they had a bunch of creators come together and tell one big grandiose story. Then Rosenberg, continued that for a little bit until it was time for Hickman to come onto the stage. I will point out that we are not that far away from the Legacy 900 number for Amazing Spider-Man, so I would anticipate something big there and then maybe another big relaunch afterwards. But it seems like for the time being, we're going to get some fresh voices into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man, and even a quote-unquote fresh character with Ben Reilly. I'm rather excited to see how this is going to pan out. I have not been a big fan of the Nick Spencer run, so this is kind of exciting to me. Rob Liefeld, the latest in the development in the on-again, off-again relationship between Rob Liefeld and Marvel. Rob is coming back to Marvel to do a 30th anniversary X-Force one-shot called Kill Shot. That seems pretty interesting and pretty nifty if I do say so myself. This week that we're actually releasing and recording this video marks the 30th anniversary of the release of that major big deal X-Force #1. It sold like 5 million copies. It was, those of us that were there at the time, it was a rather big deal. So it's cool to see Liefeld come back, get to flex those creator muscles and do what he does. X-Men The Onslaught Revelation is revealing itself in September of this year. It's going to be taking the place of Way of X, it seems, for 1 month because it is written by Simon Spurrier with artwork by Bob Quinn. So in the pages of Way of X, they've been dealing with some thematic material that's interesting enough, but one of the most interesting things to me about Way of X has been the idea that Onslaught's on his way back, or some presence or some form of Onslaught. So the Onslaught Revelation, that's a one-shot coming in September from Marvel Comics. Vanish is the new comic book written by Donny Cates with artwork by Ryan Stegman. This is completely creator-owned and the first launch of Donny's own production company, Kids Love Chains. Now, where is this going to be distributed? Is it Image? Is it something else? We don't really know yet. All we know that this is a superhero team book in the veins of like Spawn and Wildcats, basically early 90s Image. Let's talk about this for a second because there is a big wave of nostalgia coming back, and it's been coming back, and it's just rolling continuously on through of nostalgia from the early 90s Image wave, and I'm all caught up in it, and I couldn't be more excited. Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman together doing something in that vein called Vanish. I'm very excited to see what it is. Primordial is the Image book by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino and Dave Stewart. We talked about this a couple weeks ago with some classified images. Now we know what it's about. It's a 6-issue series debuting in September. And it's about, so Russia sent Laika out, the dog, into space, and America sent these 2 monkeys, but they got taken. And it's about their journey, their story. It's billed as a little bit like We 3 meets 2001: A Space Odyssey. So I'm rather excited for that. Plus, it's Lemire and Sorrentino. So, yo, I'm totally down for that. Frontiersman is the new one from Image in September as well. It's by Patrick Kinlon and Marco Ferrari. And it's described as a Green Arrow-style adventure. Like a Green Arrow, an aged version of Oliver Queen coming out of retirement, something like that. But it seems interesting enough, and that debuts from Image in September. Skybound Comet is a young readers line that's launching out of the upcoming Skybound X miniseries that's going to be weekly. It starts like July 7th or something like that, right? The first book is going to be Clementine, the first of a trilogy of young readers' books set in the world of The Walking Dead. And we are going to get the first appearance of this character in Skybound X #1. In fact, there are other announced titles for the Skybound Comet line, and those characters are going to have their introduction in this Skybound X book, so you may want to keep a lookout for that. The Skybound X book, or the Skybound Comet book of Clementine, by the way, will be done by Tilly Walden. Human Remains is a Vault comic debuting in September from Peter Milligan and Sally Cantorino. Milligan is a veteran in the industry, needs no introduction. Sally's work can most recently be seen on I Walk with Monsters. I was not very pleased with that series overall, but I did love the artwork, so I'm excited about this one. It's about a world where monsters are unleashed on humanity that feed off of strong emotions, so humanity has learned to adapt by being able to show no emotion. So it's one of these societies where love and hate and all these emotions are kind of suppressed in order to keep the monsters at bay. It's a cool enough concept, especially coming from Vault and Pete Milligan. World of Darkness, Crimson Thaw is the latest spinning out of Vault Comics doing their Vampire the Masquerade books. I tried to get into it, but I've just never been that deep into Vampire the Masquerade. But this is exciting for fans of the World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade. It's got Tim Seeley, it's got Teenie Howard, but it also has Danny Lore and Jim Zub attaching themselves to this 3-issue epic that's going to probably spawn off some more stuff. So that's interesting and cool. Telepaths is a new one from AWA Upshot Publishing, coming in September from J. Michael Straczynski and Steve Epting. And it's about an electromagnetic disturbance that unlocks telepathy in 10% of the population. That seems cool, and I'm really excited to see Steve Epting do something. I love that artist. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. But, you know, J. Michael Straczynski, JMS, this sounds like Rising Stars. This sounds like The Resistance. This sounds like so many other ideas that we've gotten from him. It's like he's just going to keep throwing the spaghetti at the wall till it sticks and he knows it's done. Anyway, some trailers I watched. Let's talk about them. Suicide Squad. Y'all, I'm so pumped for this movie. James Gunn, I think, is going to kill it. I'm so freaking excited. This trailer has some really nice bits, including Peacemaker's whole, you know, the starfish is a slang term for buttholes. Do you think they're related? Like, yo, I don't even think they don't even have to sell this movie to me anymore. I'm going to check it out. There's a new Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings trailer. We get a little bit more action about what the 10 rings are. They look more like bracelets. They look like they're connected to like vibranium, some kind of technology or something like that. The trailer itself was decent enough. It didn't really super wow me, but it was nice to notice Abomination in there, and it almost looks like Abomination's fighting Wong. Did you guys catch that? And that Fin Fang Foom bit? Dream sequence. Dream sequence. Ugh. We'll see, though, right? Picard Season 2 has released a teaser. I am so pumped for this because Q has returned. John Delancey returning as Q, and the trailer's got a lot of interesting tidbits where it looks like there's some timey-wimey timeline shifting and changing going on, and I'm just excited to check out more of, I mean, come on, Captain Jean-Luc Picard and John Delancey as Q. You know me. Halloween Kills released their trailer. Feel like they showed a little bit too much. They kind of showed us all the bits of the movie. I actually am not that big of a fan of that last Halloween film. I think it's obviously better than Resurrection, but I don't think it was better than H2O. I know. Unpopular opinion. But this trailer had some cool bits in it, but overall it didn't get me that excited to see it. Just, I don't know. I'm just going to wait and see. Obviously, for Horror Fest, by the way, we're going to wrap it all up this year with a discussion on all 12 Halloween films, including this one. So, there you go. The Harder They Fall. Watch this trailers for an upcoming Netflix Western movie that stars Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Regina King, and others. The cast is fantastic. It looks like a really solid, nice Western, and I'm excited. It's been a while since I've gotten into a newer Western, so this one kind of seems right up my alley. And Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Regina King, come on, y'all. You know we're down for that. So that's what we got coming up for you. What's coming up here at PCP? Well, we've got Rockin Robbie Live Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Join us for that. And we also got the relaunch of Comics Revisited as a live show with more guests this upcoming Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Join me, Brooks, Brian, and Verno from the Cerebros podcast as we discuss Grant Morrison's New X-Men. So we got lots coming up this week, including the 6th anniversary of Pop Culture Philosophers. We'll be celebrating that Thursday night with a live stream with me and the rest of the excitable PCP crew, so please do join us for that. Lots of stuff coming up this week. After a little bit of a hiatus, we're very glad to be back and slam bang fantastically trailblazing forward into our 6th year. Anyway, please do like, share, and subscribe. Click the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. You can support us over at patreon.com/PCP and all that jazz. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Station! Keep on living.